Dr. Carpenter, we're very glad to have you here. Did you drive a few miles to get here? Couple of miles?
4 hours.
4 hours? You're a slow driver? You know, Dr. Dave Carpenter, we're really honored you're here. He's a Diamond Associate in ASEA. Also serves on the ASEA Science Advisory Council with some of our other esteemed doctors. And probably, well, definitely knows more about what's in here than anybody else in this room and most people in the company. Works very closely with Dr. Samuelson. And would you mind just kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, maybe just 5 minutes, give a little bit of your perspective of what we really have our hands on here before I move into the second half?
Sure.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, it's a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to share what I think is pretty special. And some of you have heard me talk about this, but something like this just doesn't come along very often. I've been in the health field for, almost hate to admit this, over 30 years now, and I've never seen anything come close to what this product is doing. And let me just say, you know, there's some things that you need to understand about this product. It's not like, and Alan, by the way, I wanted to just say this, Alan did a fabulous job of explaining the science and what this product is, and really appreciated that, because it is hard sometimes to wrap your mind around what we've got here. But no matter how big you think it is at this moment, I'm telling you, 5 years from now, you're going to realize it's exponentially thousands of times bigger. We don't even understand what we have our hands on. That's how big this really is. What I can say to you is there's a couple of very important things to understand. One is that you need to take a sufficient amount of this product to really work. And one of the things that people will say to me, they'll call me up and they'll say, I've got so-and-so on this product and they're not noticing anything. What do you suggest? Well, I suggest this. Double the amount of product they're taking for a few days, and if they don't notice a difference, double it again. How many of you have run your car out of gas? I mean, I don't have to raise your hand, but honestly, I mean, anybody ever run their car out of gas? Would you consider pouring a quart of gas in your tank and expecting the car to start? You're all laughing. That's crazy, isn't it? It doesn't happen. You got to have more fuel in the tank to fuel the pump, to prime that pump and get everything working again. Well, that's the way the body gets, especially when you're depleted. The more sick you are, there's a couple of observations I'm going to share with you real quickly just because it might be helpful. One is, the first time somebody takes the product, if they say, oh my gosh, how do you get that stuff down? It's nasty. Anybody heard that before? Mm-hmm. Do you know what that tells me?
They need it.
This is something I'm learning. They really, really need it bad. Mm-hmm. So don't give them too much at a time. Give them very small amounts but more frequently, and tell them to drink lots of water. And then every few days increase it a little bit and increase it a little bit. And what you're going to find is when you get somebody up between about 6 and 12 ounces of ASEA a day, I'm talking about people that are sick or having issues, they're going to start to notice it's starting to make a difference. Give them enough product to prime the pump, so to speak. Now, yesterday I had the opportunity to speak with a world-famous nanoscientist from Rice University. And it was just an interesting conversation because it started out with this is impossible and ended up with I can't believe it. I mean, it went that far. It was an interesting conversation, and I actually was able to arrange for him to talk today with Dr. Samuelson, who will be able to say to explain to him all the things I couldn't. But one thing that came out of that conversation was he said something to me that I've been saying for a long time. He said, if this is really what you guys are saying it is, it's the biggest discovery in healthcare ever. And some of you have heard me make that claim, because I honestly believe it is. I think we have the absolute biggest discovery in healthcare in the history of the world in our hands. And hopefully you will do something with it. Hopefully you will open your mouths and share it with other people who really need to know. Because you know, there are people out there every single day on their knees praying for a solution to a problem that they have. They're begging for help. And it's just it's really up to us to make a difference. One thing that I have found useful in explaining ASEA to people that might be helpful to you. When I was growing up, I had an uncle who was an amazing musician. He played before presidents and kings and queens, and he was an amazingly talented guy at tuning pianos. And the best ear in the world, I mean, unbelievable. Most people have to use a tuning fork to tune a piano. He didn't ever have to do that. He had perfect pitch and he had perfect ear. But I've watched people over the years tune pianos, and I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to watch that, but it's a really interesting process where they take a piano that's all out of tune, and they take this tuning fork and they get this thing resonating, and it creates a pitch. And then they hit the note on the piano and they start to tighten the strings or loosen them until they get that exact same pitch on the piano. It duplicates. My mind, what I think of ASEA as is little tuning forks going through the bloodstream and through the interstitial fluids and into the cells, tuning up the cell. To me, that's the perfect analogy. Not that it's scientifically perfect, but when people say, well, how does it work? That's what I'm starting to tell them, because they all understand that. And if you can just understand, we're just fine-tuning the cells, we're just helping the body work the way it was designed. I mean, you know, Joey and Deidre, my niece and my nephew, have a 2-year-old, and it always cracks me up when they come to visit, because their little daughter is running around the couch in the living room, and literally you can watch the carpet shrink, you know? I mean, it's just like she's just wearing it out. And she'll come over and she'll sit on your lap for what, maybe 30 seconds at the most if she's really tired. And she'll say, I'm tired. Then she gets up and she runs around just like this, you know, like that little Energizer bunny. And I've often thought, why is it that we change? Why is it that we don't maintain that same energy level that little kids have? Well, we're missing these molecules that Alan's been talking about. We aren't making them as efficiently as we used to. About every 10 years, you lose about 8 to 10% of your ability to produce these molecules. That's the cellular vibration. That's that tuning fork effect of keeping those cells optimized. And every decade that we get older, we get a little farther out of balance, and a little farther out of balance, until finally we get to that point where we're not healing very fast. We don't run around very fast. But you've heard from some people here today, and you've heard what it's doing for them. I got a text yesterday. I just wanted to share this real quickly, because one of my patients happens to be a professional football player, and he's been playing for the Seahawks, and he's now playing for the Chargers. And he's at their camp, and he says, Doc, I just wanted you to know this stuff really works. He said, 500 crunches in 8 minutes. Now, I didn't know exactly if that was good or bad for him, because I'd never asked him how many he'd done before. So I pick up the phone, I call him, I said, so how many were you doing before ASEA? And he said, I never got above 400. So he picked up 100 crunches in that time period. He's been on the product less than 10 days. So is he excited? Yeah. Well, he's an athlete. He's seeing it as a performance thing. But I'm willing to bet you that it's going to enhance his longevity. It's going to enhance the years he's able to play. Have you ever noticed all these athletes out there? They're getting bigger, faster, and stronger, and their playing careers is about 1/3 what it used to be. I mean, look at Nolan Ryan. You know, I'm an old baseball player, but so he was kind of one of my favorites. But I mean, the guy was pitching in his 40s. You know, now who's pitching in their 40s? Yeah, they can barely make it to the game in a wheelchair sometimes in their 40s. That's like, well, that's what this stuff is going to do. It's going to return the athlete's performance, I think, to the point it's going to be incredible. So, again, we got something really special. I could spend hours trying to help you understand what I understand about it, and I still wouldn't be able to convey to you what I know is going to happen, because words just do not describe what we've got our hands on here. But it's big. And whatever you think of it is, it's going to be bigger than that. It's going to be so big that we probably can't even get our minds to wrap around it. And it's going to make a difference for so many people that I get goosebumps every time I think about it. So, Alan, thank you for giving me an opportunity.